If someone tells you they know exactly what's going to happen this weekend in the NLL, they are full of shit. This is an anything can happen weekend in the NLL. Week 6 is an absolutely stacked. We've got a massive game to kick things off Friday night. Halifax versus Saskatchewan. Again, rematch from last week. And what a game that was. Went right down to the wire. This time, Saskatchewan is at home. Halifax, can they go into their Saskatchewan's barn and do the exact same thing that just happened to them? We're gonna find out, that's for sure. But it is going to be another squeaker. And this is going to determine who the best team in the league is. Saturday is just pure chaos. 4 straight games. Anything can happen. Every single one of those games feels like a toss-up. This is the kind of the weekend where the standings can look completely different by Sunday night. Let's go game by game, break it all down, and I'll give you my picks. Welcome back. My name is Jake McDonald. I am Anything LAX, and this is the game that never sits still. Today is episode 24. Brand new year. Happy New Year to everybody listening. Right away, let's put in the comments what matchup you are most excited for, because there is some close ones this week, and some things are going to change in the standings after this week, that's for sure. First thing I want to mention is, unfortunately, over the weekend, unfortunately, over my New Year's Eve party I had here last night, my mic cord somehow got damaged. It wasn't working, so I'm using my old USB mic. I apologize for the sound quality. It's January 1st. I couldn't get a replacement, and the show must go on. So here we are, boys. This is just called showing up, and what are you gonna do, right? Roll with the punches is all I always say. So sound quality will be fixed as of the next episode, but this is just you're gonna have to deal with this. Best case scenario right now. So let's go over the standings real quick. We got Rochester with still the only undefeated team left at a 2-0. You got Saskatchewan at 3-1, Halifax 2-1, Vegas 2-1, Vancouver 2-1, Buffalo 2-1, Ottawa 2-1, Ottawa's 2-2, Georgia's 2-2, San Diego 1-1, Colorado 1-2, Philadelphia 1-2, Toronto is 1-2. Oshawa's 1-2. Calgary is looking for their first win, which, spoiler alert, I do think is going to be this week. So this is still a toss-up, and it's very debatable who is the best team in the league. I personally think it's Saskatchewan. You guys let me know what you think, but I think that the fact that they beat Halifax, who was the best team in the league, Rochester, it's not their fault they haven't played anybody top tier yet, so to prove that they are the best, but they're just, until they do that, they're not my top 5. So I've said that multiple times now. So let's go right to the stat leaders. Let's talk about this. So we're going to go to the stat leaders. So let's run through the stat leaders. After this is going into week 6 here, boys. We've got Jeff Teat on top with 9 goals, 21 assists, 30 points in 4 games. That is super impressive. That's what he's having an MVP. He's in the MVP conversation for sure. I know it's still super, super, super early, but especially I always say if he gets his team to the playoffs, then that to me is going to be enough for him to win MVP, especially if he's on the top of the league here. So, he's just amazing here. Like, holy cow. Then, so next you got Robert Hellier is Robin to Jeff Teat's Batman, I would say, a little bit. And you have 12 goals, 16 assists for 28 points total. Just ridiculous. Dane Smith, no slouch here. 10 goals, 14 assists for 24 points. Huge there. Riley O'Connor, another Ottawa Black Bear with 4 goals, 7 assists for 20 points. And then you also have Keegan Ball with 20 points. You have Josh Byrne with 20 points. Mitch Jones, 19 points. Tyler Pace, 18 points. Brendan O'Neill has 17 points, 8 goals, 9 assists. Connor Fields is right in the conversation too. 9 goals, 8 assists for 17 points as well. And that's pretty much your top. That's the top 10 right now. So that's what I always usually just go over as top 10 to keep this not super, super long. And then I like to go check out goalies just to see a couple of little things here. And with goalies right now, when I open the page on the NLL site, what comes up is you got Frankie Sheliano at number 1, ranked number 1. Obviously, he has 3 goals or 3 wins, 1 loss. He's at a .902 goal against average and an 82 save percentage. Huge. You've got Vancouver Warriors, or you got Delbs. You got Delbs, Warren Hill, Ryan Hartley, Landon Kells, Matt Vince, Brett Dobson, and Zach Higgins, all technically tied for second on this site. And you've got next, you got Dougie Jameson, Nick Demude, Nick Rose, Dylan Ward, Chris Riglieri, and then the next wave down there. So I just want to go to save percentage here because I find this is kind of the biggest one to me to tell how the goalie does, in my opinion. So we're going to ignore Andrew Kidder's 100 save percentage, obviously. But Warren Hill still sits the highest in the league as starting goalies go, with 87 save percentage. Brett Dobson, which we're going to be talking about this episode, obviously, but Brett Dobson is 86% episode, or 86% save percentage, so absolutely massive. Can't really hate on him for that. Devin Shanahan is also there, but that's his backup there. But again, that's just like, you can't really, he's played 6 minutes. That doesn't really count. We've got Hartley with an 85 save percentage, right? Only two games played so far, but still very impressive. Delbs has an 84 save percentage. Dougie Jameson has an 83 save percentage. Nathan Whittam, same thing, only 50 minutes played, but still an 83 save percentage. Not bad. Not bad. I'm a pretty big fan of his. Tyler Carlson, same thing. Only 5 minutes played, 83 save percentage. These guys don't really count. Frankie, 82 save percentage by Frankie. Huge, like I mentioned. Dylan Ward, even still, 81%. That's solid. Just in this year, it's not, but other years he would be at the top of the league, hands down. We got Dunkerley as well is another one, 81 save percentage, but again, he's played 19 minutes, so a little bit more. You got Hutchcraft, who's got 80 save percentage. Again, he's only played like about 4 minutes, 315. So again, even Matt Vince, though, 79 save percentage by Matt Vince is very acceptable. That's not a bad save percentage most years. It's really not. And it's still solid. Danny Kells is 78 save percentage. And considering that one game that he had, that's pretty impressive that he's bounced back like that. Nick Demude, 78 save percentage. Nick Rose, 78 save percentage. Duncan Knott, 78 save percentage. That's a backup. He's played almost 60 minutes, I guess. Then you've got Zach Higgins with a 77 save percentage is crazy. So he's basically at the bottom of the league right now for starting goaltenders. Actually, I didn't see it. Did I see Aiden Walsh on here? Yeah, for some reason I don't see Aiden Walsh. She must be on the next page. So anyway, but he's still at the closer to the bottom of the top. So that's anyway. There we have it, there, boys. So there's your point leaders. There's your standings. What do you guys think? Are you surprised by anything? If I had to pick somebody that I was surprised about, I mean, I guess, newer fan. I'll take I'll take this as a newer fan thing for myself. Robert Hellyer, man. I mean, I know I seen him play last year a little bit in San Diego. Obviously, I wasn't, I can only watch so many games last year. I didn't get to watch everything like I am now. Robert Hellyer, I wasn't expecting this much out of him. So you guys let me know if you agree with me, or are you surprised by his production too? He's number 2 in the league. Now, Jeff Teat has been amazing too, but at the same time, Robert Hellyer, honestly, really that first game or two, he really was a star of the show, I would say. And then now Jeff Teat's really starting to step it up. Don't get me wrong, Jeff Teat's always a star in every game he's in. There's nothing to talk when it comes to that stuff. So we got some banger games on this weekend. Honestly, we got 5 games on this weekend. You've got Saskatchewan Halifax kicking off Friday night, which is going to be just amazing. That's going to be an either or. You got 4 games Saturday, okay? 4 back-to-back games. You've got Ottawa versus Oshawa, so Battle of Ontario. Who's going to win that one? Oshawa's already lost to Toronto, and Ottawa is looking really good. But this is another one that Oshawa really, really needs to win. I am going to take Ottawa on this one, though, to be honest with you, a little spoiler. But then you got Las Vegas and Buffalo. You got Rochester and Colorado, and you have Calgary and San Diego. So all very, very banging. Like, these games are all going to count. These games are all important. That's why I love this league. We're going to really start to see the shape of this league and who is the cream of the crop. And honestly, I'm really shocked, or like, I'm not shocked, but it's just crazy that it's already week 6. So I want to talk about Brett Dobson for a minute. I'm going to start the clip here. Check it out, and we'll talk about it.
Got a man opposite side. That's right. Lee shot high. Melton rebound. Score. Contact with Dobson. Fight behind the goal.
Yeah, this is an interesting, because the near official called the goal, but then the trail official on the bench side had his.
He's got a man opposite side. That's right. Lee shot high. Melton rebound. Score.
Okay, now that you've seen the clip too, if you're watching on YouTube, if not, you can listen. You can go. If you're listening on Spotify, I'm sure you know what clip I'm talking about. Brett Dobson was in his crease. The angle that I showed you guys, to me, it looked like Lee ran through Brett Dobson. A lot of people, and I did rewatch it a few times, are saying he put his shoulder up and that's why he was able to get hit. It's the goalie's responsibility to get out of the player's way if they're in the crease. You have to leave enough room, I guess, for a player to be able to run through the crease. This is the thing. I had one of my followers in the Discord guy, I talk to him, regularly. I respect his opinions. This guy named Stunna, he goes by his Discord name, and I'm pretty sure that's his TikTok name too and stuff. So, comment if you're listening. But he's a pretty high level box player himself, and so he kind of messaged me after I made one of my videos, and he kind of corrected me because I said, how is this a goal? This is crazy. The rule, I understand the rule now, especially now that he informed me about what the rules are, because I've seen other goals get called back when people are in the crease. But basically what happened is because Ryan Lee, when he came in, he shot the ball and then kept going and tried to run through the crease. But Brett Dobson, because he put his shoulder up, it doesn't count. Or he wasn't letting him pass properly. So and then the other teammate picked it up and potted the goal. That is crazy to me, to be honest with you. And now I understand it's in the rules. He wasn't in the crease when the goal went in. or the shot was taken or whatever it was. He wasn't, and he was running through the crease. I guess you're allowed to do that. Stunna did mention that, he came off the bench. He's running super fast. It's hard to slow down. I personally don't think that's an excuse myself. Now, I've never played lacrosse, so it's hard for me to have that opinion. That's why I take his perspective with so much weight because he is a player. So I do keep that in mind. But I know in the NHL, these guys are on skates and they still don't do that. Now the crease is slightly bigger in the NLL and stuff, but like that can't happen. So I think there needs to be a rule change here where the players aren't allowed to in the crease at all. Because if it's going to be like this, where it's going to be gray and like the goalie gets hit and there's no recourse for the player, especially by the team, first off, how Georgia didn't go and throw Colorado, Ryan Lee around after that makes no sense. Brett Dobson was about to do it, but the fact that he had to, there was another defenseman sitting right there. You should already had his helmet off and smashing his face in. I'm sorry. I know a lot of guys aren't for the fighting in this league. I think that if you run a goalie, you deserve to have consequences put on you. And that's gonna hopefully deter you for next time if you get your face thumped in. So, this is just the way of the game. And if you don't want to happen, don't ram a goalie because they're defenseless standing there. Right? And yes, was Brett Dobson maybe a little far out? You could argue that. I've heard the other counter arguments, and I did see it from the one angle. Like maybe if I seen it from the other angle, it would look a bit different. But I can tell you from what I've seen, even if he was trying to go around him, I think it was close. And I don't think any player should be allowed in the crease at all. I think that should be honestly the rule. The back of the crease, fine. Like behind the net, if you want to cut through there, no problem. The front of the crease should be nobody in the crease other than the goalie. I think that's the only way to protect the goalies and not have this happen again, because this is going to happen again and again. And to be honest, if I was a player and I knew I could get away with this, I would try to do it, because you run down, you fire a hard shot, go in, shoulder down kind of. Well, the goalie's in my way. Goalie goes down and hopefully your team picks up the rebound and gets a free goal, especially the way Colorado was down like that and they needed that, right? So it's to me, I just don't like the ruling on it. I understand it's a clear goal. I understand it's a good goal. It's not like the refs made a bad call. Don't get me wrong. But I do think that the fact that you can just ram a goalie like that with zero recourse, when Brett Dobson, I'm pretty sure he took a fine for that hit that he did, which he should have, to be honest with you, in all fairness. But we got to do a better job protecting our goalies in this league, because what happened there, in my opinion, is unacceptable. And this might be a bigger issue if Brett Dobson would have been hurt. Like if there was an actual injury that went into this would be maybe a different conversation. But the fact that it's kind of just all is what it is, and Brett Dobson was fine and won the game and everything, I don't think it's as big of a deal now, right? So just my 2 cents on that from a newer lacrosse fans' point of view. It didn't make sense to me how you could just ram the goalie. And if anybody was an old school hockey fan, NHL 2006, there used to be this. You used to be able to slap shot the puck, hit the goalie in the head. The goalie would fall back on his back, and you could pick up the puck and score. And that's what this reminds me of. Honestly, it's kind of like that. So there you go. So game 1's Halifax versus Saskatchewan. We've seen what happened last time. We had a goalie battle a little bit. The scoring is still kind of low. This was obviously a 10-9 game, very close. The ending where it seemed like the ball was dead, Saskatchewan capitalized like they should have. They're a veteran team. They knew what happened. Halifax kind of stopped playing there. But again, it was a really weird thing. The reffing in that one was a little bit, I'm usually really on the ref sides. It was a little bit soft, in my opinion, on a few calls I've seen. But this is going to be a rematch. Halifax, it's kind of a must win in order to be considered the top team. This is the game for the top team, I think. If Halifax beats Saskatchewan, it's going to show that this is an either or. Saskatchewan is going to be really hard to beat at home. They've got guys that can score from everywhere. They've got Frankie's been playing amazing, and this is the thing. Can Warren Hill continue to play at the high level that he has as well? I personally think so. I'm a big fan of Warren Hill, but Frankie's been playing top notch as well. And these guys are hungry for a championship, so they want to try to give themselves the best possible chance in the playoffs. And I'm sure Halifax would also like to get a home game playoff game this year in the first round. So it'd be nice to see Halifax, win. I have a feeling that Halifax is going to win this game. I just think this is how it goes. It's kind of like, Saskatchewan kind of kicked them in the nuts last week by the way they won and how close it was. It's now, and it was in their home barn. Now it's time for Halifax to go back and do the same thing to Saskatchewan. It's going to be a close game, I'm sure, again. But either way, honestly, either one, if one of these goalies decide to break down, either team could go on a run. So, but I do think it's going to be very close, very similar, something in this range, 11-10, 9-8, something like that. So we'll see what happens as it goes on here. Definitely looking forward to seeing this game and how it plays out. So that's the first one. Next we have Ottawa. Versus Oshawa, Battle of Ontario. These 3 teams in Ontario are really trying to find out who is the supreme team in that province. Now, if you ask me, I would say it's Ottawa. I think Toronto, it will be in a couple years. In Oshawa, I don't know. I would have thought they were right in the running there this year. But if they don't start turning around soon, they're going to have a similar season that they did last season, where they're going to put themselves in such a hole that even when they go on this huge run, if they have one misstep, they're going to miss a playoff. So let's not put ourselves in this situation. I'm really high on Oshawa, or at least I was at the beginning of the season. I don't know where their offense has gone. They need to do something. So we're going to have to see if they can put up some goals this weekend. Like, it can't be all Alex Simmons here. It can't be. It's not an attainable strategy when you're doing this, right? So just for context, Oshawa is 1-3. Ottawa is 2-2. Both these teams need these wins, okay? Ottawa is better than the record shows, I think, because they beat Saskatchewan, and then they just had a couple losses that I don't think they really should have lost. Like, there is a world where Ottawa should be in first place right now, but they're not, and that's the reality of it. So we got Ottawa with 49 goals for, and them 46 goals against, so they're only a +3 differential. But Oshawa is 21 goals for, 35 goals against in 4 games, guys. So, this is the thing. The goal against isn't that bad. They just need to score. And they got going last week, or was the last week before, whenever they played last. They got going. They had 4 or 5 there, and then I think it was 5. And then it was just done. They were just like, no, we're done. So once you have the foot in the gas pedal, you can't take it off. You have to keep driving. And again, like I said, it can't be all Alex Simmons. Dyson Williams has to be better. Hy Kurtz has to be better, and their depth scoring has to be better. They just need to be better as a team. Jameson is doing his part. He's got an 82 or an 80. I think it's an 83 save percentage, like I just talked about. And there's no reason that this team should be a 1-3 lacrosse team. It's crazy. But this is what I mean. This league is very tight. So I personally think Ottawa takes this game. And just in case if I didn't say it, Halifax, I think, I think they are going to take it. I think I did mention that, but in the last game. But Ottawa is going to take this game. Here's why. Ottawa is really looking to make the playoffs this year. I do really believe that. They have the best player in the world right now. I'm confident in saying that after I've seen Lyle be playing, what Jeff Teat did in summer with the PLL. And even though Lyle did go win a Mann Cup, don't get me wrong, it's very apples and oranges here. But I will say Jeff Teat is the future, and right now I do think Jeff Teat is the best player in the world. He's proving it this season already, and if he can continue at this pace, that's going to be the way it goes. Now, I'm hoping Lyle can turn it around, but I think Lyle, not that he's not a stellar, absolute monster of a player, I just don't think he's at this point in the contention for the best player in the world currently, right? Now, in his prime, we could argue that all day, but right now, currently, is he the best player in the world? And I mean, like, I don't think he is right now. Jeff Teat's been so good, and so is Dane Smith. Robert Hellier, even, like, he's right there. I wouldn't put him in that conversation, though, honestly. Not quite this right now. Like, he's the best player in the NLL right now, and he's on, like, quite the heater. Don't get me wrong. But, like, when I look at that top clear thing, I think it's got to be considered. You got to have Fields. You got to have Fields, Teat, and Dane Smith in that conversation now. I think Lyle Thompson's kind of been put out of it a little bit, unless he has a resurgence in the next couple of games here to really prove that I'm wrong. Which, this is the thing. I love Lyle. I think he's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I've been Lyle Thompson's best player in the world. I think this was true right up until the beginning of the season. It just seems like he's really starting to slow down a little bit, and there's nothing wrong with that. Now, whether he needs to change a senior, that's a whole other conversation. But Lyle is just such a talented player, and I still love watching him. He's probably still my personal favorite player, but I try to stay unbiased. I can't put him in that top category right this second. So maybe he'll move his way back in. But right now, if I had to pick 3 players, best players in the world right now, it would be Jeff Teat, Dane Smith, and Connor Fields. Every time I watch a Rochester game and I watch Connor Fields play, I'm like, I understand why people say this now. I really do. I get it more and more the more I watch him. Dane Smith, same thing, right? Jeff Teat, I already knew this, but Dane Smith, same thing. I knew this more about Dane Smith because I watched Mann Cup, and I watched like last season him in the playoffs, and throughout the year and stuff. And I will say, like, Rochester, I just didn't watch a lot last year as much, or not as much. Like, I still watched them, but not as much. I now find this year because I'm watching every game. I'm seeing this all, and I can tell you Connor Fields is just a beast. But back to this game, like I said, Ottawa, I think, is going to win the state game, and we're going to see. I think we're going to start to see the panic mode set in after this week with Oshawa. What are we going to do? How do we go moving this around? All this stuff, and what do they add? Do they just run with it and try to fix what they have? I don't know. You guys let me know. And that's the thing. That's another both. So 2 games so far, 2 that could go both ways. This is where I'm talking about. Now, speaking of Dane Smith, we've got Vegas versus Buffalo in Buffalo. And we've got Vegas is 2-1, and Buffalo is 2-1 also. So this is a big game for both of them. They got 36 goals for, Vegas does, and 35 goals against. And then you have 36 goals for Buffalo, but only 27 goals against. Now, game 1 for them, I kind of got to give them a little bit of an asterisk, Las Vegas anyway, because they played Vancouver and they didn't have Chase Frazier in. So, like, you're not having your top offensive guy go down during warm-up in the first game. I think that screwed with their head because I honestly still had a funny feeling that they might have got Vancouver if Chase Frazier was playing that game. Now, Kells had to play better. Kells has been playing the last 2 games. Kells has been really solid. Can he come in here and do this again? That's the real question, is can he be consistent? And I think he can be. I'm kind of liking him more and more the more I watch the Vegas Desert Dogs. I have a special place in my heart for Vegas. I had them ranked 5 at 5th at the beginning of the season. Maybe a little high, probably more of a 6th that should have been. But I do think that this team is talented. And for that reason, I do think this is going to be an upset game this week. I do. I think that Vegas comes into Buffalo, and Buffalo, it's one of those games that Buffalo should win, and they're going to lose. And this is going to be one of those games that gives Vegas that chance to prove that they are a legit contender. If they don't win this game, it's going to be, they're not really talking about Vegas. Nobody really talks about Vegas, to be honest with you. They had the big splash in free agency. They had the Jack Hanna trade that just happened. But like, as far as like serious contenders, I don't hear anybody really mentioning other than myself. And I'm sure there's other guys, don't get me wrong, but I don't hear too many guys talking about Vegas being, oh, they could be the real deal this year, blah, blah. I'm pretty sure Frick might say that, like Elliot Frickman. Like the loose mesh guys might be onto that, to be honest with you, right? But other than that, I haven't seen here too many guys say that. I know they're not on. When I look at power rankings, they're on a lot of people's power rankings, and I think with every win, they're going to keep climbing. So let's go with Vegas on this one, okay? And that's going to be a big win for them, and I need it for who you got, because a lot of people are going to be taking at. I got slaughtered last week too, guys. I got slaughtered last week, but I need those points for who you got. I'm gonna even put them at a 10 because I'm just kind of feeling. I don't know. I'm gonna go off my gut this week because I didn't last week and I just had a horrible week. So we've got Rochester versus Colorado next game, and this is gonna be a banger. This is pure offense versus pure defense with additions. Andrew Q, is he gonna be back? I don't think so. I heard that his thumb is broken, so I don't think he's gonna be back. Whether that will be true, I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. Jack Hanna, I'm assuming he's going to suit up for this game. Will Malcolm's going to finally get another guy that can really help him since Andrew Q's out. And they've got a couple more pieces that are really good that they can work off of and work around. Their goaltending's been solid for sure, and their defense is really strong. So they had definitely not their best game last weekend. I'm not going to lie, they didn't. They played they played pretty rough, honestly. They really did. And they have to be better this week. That's 1,000%, right? They put themselves in a position that even though they beat Vancouver, they put themselves in a position that they've erased it. It doesn't matter. It's a good thing they beat Vancouver, actually. So right now, Rochester is still undefeated, 2-0, sorry. And then Colorado's 1-2. You've got 30 goals for Rochester and 18 goals against for Rochester as well, sorry. And then you've got 20 goals for Colorado and 27 goals against. So this is another one that I have a funny feeling that it's going to be a Colorado upset on this one. I really do. I don't know what it is. They're at home. They need the win, but I cannot bet against Rochester at this point. I'm not going to change my thing on this. I won't be shocked if Colorado can come out and beat them, but Rochester is so good. I cannot in good conscience take Rochester over Colorado right now, but I do have this weird feeling that they're going to have a good game. I am getting sucked into them a little bit though, so I'm trying to kind of take a step back a little bit because I'm being sucked into Colorado because they have such good swagger. They've got a good crowd. They've been flashy in the free agency and in with Jack Hanna. I really like Will Malcolm. He had a big first game and all that stuff, and he's having, other than last week, he's having a really good season. So I do really like that team, but like I said, Rochester, like I just talked about Fields for a minute there. Fields, Launchbury, Ryan Smith, there's just so many weapons there that Zed, there's just so many weapons there that it's hard to just be like, oh, and Hartley has got my heart. I don't even know if he's going to be allowed to play because I think he might have to take a suspension for this week because of the fight, if I'm not mistaken. But I love that guy. I think that was the best thing he could have done is that fight. It blew up all over ESPN, Barstool. Everybody had it. The Spit and Chicklets guys were talking about it. Everybody had that. So that's what we need. We need more guys like Hartley in this league that's going to make an exciting play happen. I know fighting's, some guys are really fucking anti-fighting. I don't care. Go watch fucking soccer then. No, but seriously, you don't need to enjoy fighting to watch lacrosse. There's not that much of it, but I love it. I think it adds a spice to this sauce that is this amazing sport. And anyway, so I'm going to take Rochester. I'm going to think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but in order for Colorado to beat Rochester, I need to see what they did back against Vancouver. I need to see what they did in the preseason, where they smothered their defense, smothered the other team's offense, and just outworked them. And that's what they have to do. And Rochester, the one thing I will say about Rochester, if you can stop them for the first quarter. You can just slow them down enough and outscore them in the first quarter, and they have to play off their back. It's going to be interesting to see what they can do, because we haven't seen that yet. They always come out super hard and just go, and it's only 2 games, but they come out super hard and they let you know they're there, right? And they get that lead, and then they kind of hold it. And I'm not saying they don't score, because they consistently keep scoring every quarter, but they just kind of, they go out really hard, fast, get a nice lead, and then they're comfortable for the rest of the game, and now they can just go play lacrosse. It's a great strategy. Colorado needs to stop it. That's just it, right? So I'm going to take Rochester only because I just can't rightfully play like that against them, because they're just too good. They are. On paper, they are the best offensive team in the league, in my opinion, and their back end's been great. Right there, if they can continue that, and their backup goaltender's not bad either, even if they do have to play him. He's a good goaltender. So I think that they're going to be, I think they'll be looking good this week, and I think that there's a pretty good chance they do end up winning this game. And then we got the final game of the week. Calgary versus San Diego in San Diego, okay? So Calgary is 0-3, and they've got 30 goals for and 40 goals against, so they're minus 10 goal differential. And you got 1-1 in San Diego, and they're 23 goals for and 28 goals against. Okay, so Calgary, if you didn't see it, go look at the interview. Go look at the interview with the coach from Calgary, and you'll understand what I'm talking about, because he was not impressed with them, and he said that publicly into the media. So whatever he's saying in the room is going to be a million times worse. And they're right. I thought, honestly, I gave Calgary more credit than the coach did. And I think that's because, from my point of view as a fan, I expect 0 to Calgary this year. If they got 1 win, I'd be like, okay. Like, I don't expect much out of them, or I didn't at the beginning of the season. I think I'm kind of getting to I do think they have a good team, or like a better team than I thought. I just think that it's not quite good enough to be competitive in the league that we're in right now. With that being said, not competitive, I guess. It's just that they're going to have a lot of teams that, you're basically the underdog every game when you go in there. So it gets hard over time and time when you're doing that. So hopefully Calgary can, really pull it together. But this week, they're 0-3. If you look back at the NLL history, I went back and did this, and I think there's one season way back in the early 2000s that a team had 1 win. That was it. Most times, you have teams get 4 wins minimum. 3 of 4. 4 is kind of like the minimum teams will get, or like that. That's most of the time. Even the worst place team will have 4 wins, maybe 3, but most of the time it's 4. So you got to think the season is, for them, you've got 18 games, right? So you're almost at the point where this is like almost like your quarter. After this game is going to be like your quarter of your season's almost over. A little bit less, but just roughly. This is one of those games that I think Calgary's going to win. I just have a funny feeling, and this is actually one that I am going to go with. San Diego's been very good, honestly. When I watched them in the preseason, when I watched them that first game, even their last game they played, they weren't horrible. They just went up against a juggernaut. So, and it's an offensive, like just killer. So I understand why. I was very low on San Diego, then I went high on San Diego a little bit, and now I'm kind of like somewhere in the middle with them. I do think they are a playoff team. I just don't think they're going to win this game, if that makes sense. Now this is easily, like, this is the one that I was like, I think this is going to win. My gut's telling me the Calgary's going to win this game, and it's only because they're 0-3, and I've watched them play. They do have some talent, and the way the coach came out last week, I just think that it's a perfect storm for them to go get a win. I'm going to call Calgary on this one, and I think this is hopefully, again, this is one that wins for me, because I think it's going to be one of the ones that helps me on who you got. Because right now, last week I did horrible, and I was doing pretty good before that. So I got to get some points back somewhere here, boys. I got to try to steal some points somewhere from these guys. So I am going to go with Calgary in this game. Again, it's legit just a feeling. I think San Diego, like I said, I do think that they've got 2 games played, and to have 28 goals against is a lot. In this year, in this league, it's a lot. Usually I wouldn't be like, oh, it's not that bad, but to get in this year, in this league, it's a lot. And I do think that Calgary, to be honest with you, I know the coach and everybody, I thought they played Buffalo better than expected, and I thought they kept up to Buffalo, just not for the whole game, essentially. That's really what I've seen. There'd be times that Buffalo crank it up, and that's the thing. Are they going to be able to shut down when San Diego does crank it up? Because they've got a couple guys in there that can really kill it. And Small is one of them that has had a great start to the season. You got Wesley Berg over there as well. They're the few. Leclerc has had a good start to the season as well, and we're going to see what happens here. But if I had to pick right now, I would be choosing Calgary just based on my gut. Now, will I change it on who you got? I am going to change it on who you got, only because I do think that, like I said, I think that I need the points. I got to start trying to make some ground up here. And if you don't know what Who You Got is, just shout out to Jake Elliott and in the Lacrosse Classified podcast. Who You Got, just like you pick your picks of the week. I think it's actually a really cool system. and then you accumulate points over the season. So go check it out if you haven't. But I mean, most people that are in the lacrosse community, I think, are in there and are absolutely killing it. So there's some good guys on there too. I looked at the standings and there's some good guys up there. So, but there's also some guys that are down below me too. So I'm trying. I think it'd be cool to finish kind of somewhere near the top one there, if it's not in first, but just as my first full season watching lacrosse, to finish kind of up in that top tier, like maybe top 25 or something out of 200. I think it's 200 people. I think that'd be a really cool little feather in my hat and give me some confidence as well. Okay, so again, I just want to say I wanted to apologize again for the mic issue, but this is one of those things that it's like, my opinion, it's better to get the episode out rather than not put it out. And then if I have to tomorrow, it would just be too much of a rush because I mean tomorrow the game's Friday night. I'd have to record it. I'd have to go get a cord when the first thing opened, record it, and then put it out. And I just don't want to be rushed. So I know this isn't ideal, but I know it's not. I listened to it and it's like as a tester before, it's not too bad, but it's definitely not my Yeti mic. So again, next episode that'll be all. I'll have that all good to go. So that's week 6, 5 games. There's no real safe game here. I think that this is one of those weeks. Like I said, it's an anything can happen weekend in lacrosse. I really do think that that's it. Drop your picks in the comments. Let me know who you guys think are going to think, or who you guys think are going to win, because this is kind of one of those weekends that, you know, flip a coin and it could be more. It could be better off. It could be better off flipping a coin than having your own picks. So we're gonna go like that. And other than that, I'll be going live during the games this weekend. We'll be doing, you know, more content's coming. I just posted today, to be honest with you, that you know, I posted all my goals for the year. I personally love that stuff myself. You know, I want to lose a little bit of weight, 20 pounds roughly. I want to just get outside more, start meditating a little bit, read every day, keep producing content. My content goals are 25,000 for TikTok. I'm just under 5,000. So it's a lengthy goal, but I think I can hit it. We've got, especially because I'm going to start covering the PLL and everything. I'm going to be doing this full time, like full year round. So we've got 25,000. I want like 500 subscribers for my podcast. So Spotify, and between Spotify, Apple, and YouTube, if we could get 500 subscribers between those 3 by the end of the year, that'd be amazing. So if you know anybody who likes lacrosse, share them this podcast. I would really appreciate it. And what else we got going on here? Anyway, so yeah. So other than that, man, like that's pretty much the episode. That's episode 24. Can't believe we got here already. It's pretty wild. I hope you guys had a happy New Year. Life most people have tomorrow off. I think some people are going back to work. I think most people are going back to work tomorrow. So, you know, if you're going to head back to work, or if you're listening to this at work, because I listen to a lot of my podcasts at work, so I get it. If you're listening to us at work, hopefully this helped get you through your day. My name's Jake McDonald. I'm Anything Lacrosse. This is a game that never sits still, and you guys have an amazing New Year. Thanks. We'll talk to you soon.